This episode of the Archery Roundtable is sponsored by Barn Burner Custom Strings, where champions find a way. It is also brought to you by B3 Archery, built the best, by the best, for the best. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy the pilot episode of the Archery Roundtable.
Welcome to the first episode of the Archery Roundtable. We are your host. I'm Rusty Miller. This is Matt Jacobs.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for our podcast.
Yeah.
We are the Archery Roundtable. We're going to talk all things archery on this podcast, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think what we want to do on this first episode is tell everybody who we are and why we want to start this podcast.
Yeah, little introductions.
Yeah, so you kick it off and tell me who you are and why you're here.
All right. Hello, everybody, again. My name's Matt Jacobs. Been in archery for probably 20 years, maybe a little longer, a little less. Started out very basic, like most everybody, just shooting bow in the backyard. Found out there was competition, started competing, did pretty good at it, loved it. Then I started a company in the archery industry, lost my love for archery because my passion became my job. Quit hunting, quit shooting, but now I'm getting back into the passion side of it, and I'm going to start shooting again this year, going all the ASAs.
Perfect.
So that's a quick little synopsis on me and where I've been the last 20 years in archery.
Perfect. My archery background is not near that long. I bought a crossbow to start hunting 4.5 years ago. Hunted one season with it and decided I was not a crossbow hunter. I didn't enjoy it. So you own the archery shop here in town, and I sold my crossbow and bought a compound and been a compound shooter ever since. I've hunted 4 seasons with a compound bow, and I've shot a little bit of ASA and a little bit of 3D here at the shop when we had one of those. So, but my passion is in the woods and hunting deer and whitetail in southern Indiana, and all the way around that. I do like to shoot 3D targets and things like that. I hate shooting paper. You won't ever see me doing that. That's just not my style, or what makes me want to shoot a bow is shooting paper. So that's my background in hunting, and yours is more on the tournament side.
Yep.
And you've hunted with a bow, and you do hunt. A few years ago, you haven't hunted the last 2 years, I think, right?
I got out once this year, and it was raining, and I was there for about 45 minutes where I said, this ain't happening this year.
I killed mine on my 32nd sit of the year this year.
Nice.
So I was out quite a bit.
Yeah, dedicated.
Before I killed. And then...
Wait, does that make you dedicated or just a bad hunter?
Well, if I hadn't had other opportunities, I'm not a trophy hunter, but I do I do pass bucks, so I guess that technically makes me a trophy hunter. But my idea of a trophy is way different than some other people's.
Sure.
What we want to get into now is kind of what this podcast is and why we're here and what we're doing with it.
Okay.
And you want to jump in and explain kind of you were the brains behind the starting of this, but
that might be the only time I ever hear you say that.
It will be.
So for a while now, I've wanted to do a podcast where it's about the average guys. You know, I'm nobody special in the archery world. Clearly, you aren't either, with 4 years of experience. But I want to reach out and talk to the hunters and the guys that go shoot the ASAs that are in Open B and Known 40, Known 45. I'll be shooting in Known 45 this year. You shot bow novice?
Hunter
class when you went to your ASA. He goes, I want to interview those guys, and I want to grow archery to the best of our ability, differently than any of the other podcasts that are out there. There's some other podcasts out there. They're good and they do everything, their way and what they want to do. We just want to do it a little bit differently. I want to do product reviews, but I want to do them on site. I want to try to go to these factories and do them just something different. That's kind of what my goal is. Just bring archery to everybody, kids, families. If we like we have talked, if we can get one guy to go from a backyard to a 3D tournament, we were a success.
For sure.
That's it.
Well, and I think the genesis of this whole thing was that we both watch and listen to lots of podcasts in our world,
Yeah.
and in our everyday life, and there's a lot of hunting videos and shows and things like that out, and I'm a huge fan of a few of those, but there's not really any around archery specific, or especially podcast around the everyday Joe that is out in the woods or trying to scout, or the guy that's shooting in his backyard to go to an ASA and isn't paid by a big manufacturer.
Sure.
So kind of that, listening to that, wanting to have an outlet there, we were like, let's be that outlet. Let's start
Yeah.
this podcast. And we've had a podcast before, so
Yeah.
we're familiar with kind of how it works and our dynamic and how we can work together.
At
And
least we think so.
right, so some say that one wasn't very successful, but I think it was.
Aye.
So
We
this-
had comments.
and views.
Views and comments are all you need to make a successful podcast.
I agree. So what we wanted to do is to grow with this and to have an archery community kind of come together and have a round table. The kind of the best part of deer season or anything is getting with your buddies in the garage or here at the shop or at a base camp and sitting around the fire and just kind of telling deer stories or archery stories, or when you go to an ASA, camping out that night and
Yep.
then just telling how the day was, and oh, I missed this shot because of this bird that flew in, and just kind of telling stories and BSing, and that's who we are, and that's how we get along with each other, and that's what we want to hear in a podcast. So if we can do that and bring some enjoyment to some people and bring some insight, and if we can grow this to do some product reviews and have interviews with people that wouldn't necessarily have interviews, then I think that was a success, and that's what our goal here is.
I couldn't agree more, and I think, like you said, giving people, the people who normally wouldn't have a voice. Not that they, in a way that is whatever with that, giving them a voice, but I want to interview and talk to the people that might never get an interview on a podcast.
Sure.
Because they shoot in a class that, or they compete in a class that is not prestigious enough for them.
Sure.
So I think it'll be fun, and I think, like I said, I like to connect with people and talk with all kinds of different people. I'm just a people person. So being able to talk with people, whether it be over the phone, through Skype, or
Having them here or go there. Or,
bringing them here, or whatever, I think it'll be really fun to connect with the archery community and the hunting community in general.
for sure. So some of the things that we're trying to talk about is we're going to talk about everything from scouting to shed hunting, which I've already started, to scouting this summer, to hunting and how it's going and what we're seeing, if it's the rut, things like that. But then also on the tournament side, how Foley went, how did this tournament
Yeah.
go? Is it going to rain in Metropolis again this year and flood everything out? And
Inevitably.
that's the kind of stuff. But then also, our goal is to have some product reviews and to test some products that come out in a average Joe kind of way, like not sponsored by that company to tell them it's the best one that you have to go buy it, and not to push the $800 site to
No, I don't want to go down the road of companies are sending us stuff to review because they want it to sell. I don't mind going out to the Lancaster trailer or getting on the website, and I'll buy something with my own money, review it for you guys, and give it away.
Sure.
Because that's, I think that gives a better, more honest opinion. Because let's face it, if I give you something of mine to review, you're going to be a little biased because
You're
I'm giving it to
obligated.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have sponsors. You tied into you co-own a archery company here
Correct.
in the industry, and that's obviously a sponsor, but we're not going to ever have commercials. We're never going to push it towards a hunting show on TV. You have 20 minutes of hunting, and 15 of it's pushing commercial or products and then commercials, and it's just not who we want to be and how we want to grow this. And so you will see some sponsors, hopefully. We've got a couple companies that are on board now, but nothing that'll ever be over the top or in your face, I would hope. So just kind of two guys sitting around talking archery and trying to grow the sport and the industry, and to get some content out there for people that are working an 8-hour job and need something to listen to during the day.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just going to be us talking. Inevitably we will get off track. It is an inevitable thing that will happen. But we just want to make it fun, and we want you guys to enjoy it. So I think that about sums up what we're going to do with it.
For sure. And to that point, we would like your input. What would you like to see in an archery podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want us to review? Who do you want us to talk to that, we could probably get, right? Like,
yeah. I mean,
don't say you want me to interview Joe Rogan, because I don't think that I can get Joe Rogan on my podcast after one episode. So,
well, maybe 2 or 3.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I feel like we're doing big things with these mics.
They are fancy. So, yeah, that's what we want. So share this, like it. It is new. We're on all the platforms. The Archery Roundtable on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, yeah, and our email is there at the archeryroundtable@gmail.com.
Yep.
So we have ways to get a hold of us. Drop comments on any of the things on the post, and we'll like and talk to you, and we'll go from there.
Yep. All right. I think that sums it up.
Perfect. Until next time, he's Matt, and I'm Rusty, and this was the Archery Roundtable.